Hi everybody, Josh Rappaport here with Now I Get It Math, and today I'd like to present my second in the series of bare bones algebra. So this is the series on just basic algebra skills that you want to nail down cold so you can succeed in pre-algebra and algebra 1. The topic we're going to nail down today is factoring quadratic trinomials, probably one of the most important concepts in all of algebra 1. So I hope you'll find this really interesting and helpful. And what I'm going to do is first teach a few preliminary concepts and then go into teaching some of the techniques for factoring trinomials, okay, so that everyone learns how to do it. Okay, so as far as the preliminaries go, we've got the preliminary concepts that I'm going to teach, PC, that's what it stands for here, not politically correct. And the first preliminary concept is, what does A, B, and C mean when you're factoring trinomials? What are we talking about by A, B, and C? So here's what you need to know. The general form when you've got a quadratic trinomial is ax squared plus bx plus c. And you can see what that means when you look at a specific quadratic trinomial, which would be, for example, 4x squared plus 9x minus 7. Okay, now what you want to do to understand what A, B, and C means is you match up each of these numbers, 4, positive 9, and negative 7, with A, B, and C. So you can see that the A number is the number that goes in front of your x squared term, or just any variable squared. The B is what goes in front of the variable to the first power, and the C is just the number term alone. It's just the plain number term. So what I did is I took this trinomial here, and I just kind of rewrote it, showing those numbers as clearly as possible, matching it up with the general form. So showing this 4 here is a positive 4. That tells us that the A value of this trinomial is positive 4. A is positive 4. With a B, you're seeing that the B is positive 9, so the B value is positive 9. The C is kind of the trickiest one. With the C, we've got a minus 7. What you want to do is recast that in your mind as 9x plus a negative 7, and then you see, since it's plus a c, the thing you're adding is the negative 7, so the c is actually negative 7 there. So for this trinomial, these are the values of a, b, and c, and that's how you get those. Okay, not really hard, but that's just something you need to know for factoring trinomials. Okay, preliminary concept number 2 is just a quick refresher on how absolute value works and what it is. So the key idea there is that absolute value is simply the distance between any number and 0, distance. And since distance is always positive in our way of understanding things, absolute value of a number is always positive as well. So here's a way to think about it. If you've got a basic number line here, and you've got negative 3 over here, and you've got positive 3 over here, so you just ask yourself, how far is 3 from 0? Well, 3 is 3 units away from 0, so that distance is 3. And then you can also ask, how far is negative 3 away from 0? It's also 3 units away from 0. You wouldn't say that negative 3 is negative 3 away from 0, right? You'd say it's 3 away from 0, because distance is always positive. So because of that, since absolute value is distance from 0, we say the absolute value of 3 is, of course, just 3. But interestingly, the absolute value of negative 3, since it's just distance, is still 3. And you can have absolute value of decimals or fractions. So the absolute value of 1/2 is, oops, let's make that look a little better, is 1/2. And the absolute value of negative 1/2 is also 1/2. So there you go. Absolute value is just always positive. Okay. Then preliminary concept number 3 is that there are actually 4 patterns for your basic trinomials. Now, as long as the first term, I shouldn't say first really, I should say the A value is positive, then you have 4 patterns. And you can always make the A positive if you want to. If you've got an equation, you just multiply by -1 if the A is negative. So you can always make that A positive if you've got an equation. And so as long as A is positive, here are the 4 patterns that you've got. So here's the first example. X squared plus 7x plus 10. Notice that everything's positive. Of course, the first is positive, then we have a positive and a positive, so we've got positive, positive, positive. x squared minus 7x plus 10, then we've got a positive followed by a negative, and then a positive. So we've got a positive, negative pattern. Then we've got two other patterns where the last term is negative. So we have x squared plus 3x minus 10. That's a positive, positive, negative pattern. Or fourth pattern, x squared minus 3x minus 10. That's a positive, negative, negative pattern. The reason I'm breaking it up this way is that right after this segment here on these preliminary concepts, I'm going to teach how to do these first two patterns. Then after that, I'll make a separate video on teaching how to do the third and fourth patterns, because these two are kind of done in the same way, and these two are done in the same way, my way of looking at it. Okay, so that's the four patterns, and then the fourth preliminary concept is very simple. It's just that whenever the a value is positive 1, which is true for your beginning trinomials, when you're first learning how to factor trinomials, the a is always positive 1. The first step is extremely simple, and it's simply this. You've got, let's say you've got x squared plus 15x plus 50. All you do for your first step is you take that variable to the first power and you stick it first in two separate parentheses, like that, x and x. And if the variable is a, you just put a first, a and a. And you're going to put something after those, but that's what I'm going to teach in the next segment of this video and in the second video of this set. Okay, so there are your four preliminary concepts, and we're going to go on next and show how to do these two first patterns. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to factor pattern 1 and pattern 2 quadratic trinomials, and we'll start with a pattern 1 trinomial. And recall that with a pattern 1 trinomial, the pattern of the signs is positive, positive, positive. Okay, now it turns out that the signs that you put in parentheses after the variable for a pattern 1 trinomial is a plus sign and a plus sign. It's pretty easy to remember because everything here is positive, so it would kind of make sense that you would put a positive sign and a positive sign. Now our example for the first pattern 1 trinomial is this one, x squared plus 6x plus 8. That's what we're going to factor. And again, I show the steps on the left in English, the example, and on the right in what I call the math list, showing all the math. And so here we start. Step 1, show the problem and show the parentheses pattern. So there's the problem again, x squared plus 6x plus 8, and the pattern with parentheses, x plus, x plus. All we need to do is figure out what numbers go in those spaces after the plus signs. Okay, step number 2 is find your b value, your c value, and then get the absolute value of the b and the absolute value of the c value. So here it's easy to see the b value is the positive 6, the c value is your positive 8, and those are both positive numbers. Their absolute values are the same as the numbers themselves, so the absolute value of b is 6, the absolute value of c is 8. Step 3, find the factors of absolute value of c that sum or add up to the absolute value of b. Now this is the general thing you do for both pattern 1 and pattern 2 quadratic trinomials. So this will be the same for both of those. So here's how it works. You say you're finding the factors of the absolute value of c, which as we saw was 8, that add up or sum to the absolute value of c, absolute value of b rather, which is 6. So there we've got it. So they want to find factors of 8 that add up to 6. Okay. So to do that, I like to use this little chart here where I say factor 1, factor 2, they have to multiply to give me 8, and they have to add up to give us 6. Okay, they have to sum to 6. So then you can just start going through your pairs of factors for that number. So what pairs of numbers multiply to give you 8? I always say it's easy to start with just 1 and the number, like 1 times 8 is 8, and those two add up. When you do 1 plus 8, you get 9. That's not what we want. We want 6, so that's a no. Then you go up and say, well, 2 times 4 is also 8, so 2 times 4, that's another pair of factors, and 2 plus 4 is 6, so that is the pair we want because they sum to 6. So we put a check mark saying that's the pair we want. And then I circle it here to show that that's the pair that we want, the 2 and the 4. And then in step 4, that's the end of step 3, in step 4, all you have to do is you plug those discovered values, the 2 and the 4, into the parentheses after the plus sign. So here are your parentheses with the x plus You take your 2 and your 4 and you simply plug them in after the plus sign, plug the 2 in, plug the 4 in, and then this is your answer, x plus 2 times x plus 4. That means that x squared plus 6x plus 8 is actually equal to x plus 2 times x plus 4. Those are equivalent expressions, okay? And now I'm going to show you how you do the same exact procedure, basically, for a pattern 2 trinomial. There's only a very subtle change. So the amazing thing is how similar pattern 2 is to pattern 1. All right, our example of a pattern 2 is going to be this one, x squared minus 6x plus 8. You can tell from my intonation that I emphasize that minus 6x because that's the only difference, is that this is a minus 6x rather than a plus 6x as it was with our pattern 1. Okay, so since that's a minus 6x, with a pattern 2, the order of the signs is positive, negative, positive. Notice that the key thing that we've still got in common with pattern 1 is that the last sign is positive. That's your key for remembering. With pattern 1 and pattern 2, the last sign is positive as well as the first sign being positive. Okay, now the difference in the parentheses, what you do in parentheses is key. With a pattern 2, instead of having a positive and a positive sign after the variable, you have a negative sign and a negative sign, okay, which kind of makes sense again because that middle sign is very important, and it being there makes both of these negative. All right, now, so the first step, here we're going to go through the steps. The first step, again, we show the problem and the parentheses pattern. Here's the new problem, x squared minus 6x plus 8, and the parentheses pattern, x minus x minus. Again, we're just trying to find the numbers that belong after those two minus signs. Step 2, there's only one little difference from with the pattern 1 trinomial, which is that now the b value is negative. b is negative 6 rather than positive 6. However, because of the way absolute value works, the absolute value of negative 6 is still 6. So it doesn't change the absolute value of b, and c doesn't change at all. It was positive 8, it still is, so its absolute value is still the same. That means that step 3 is exactly the same as it was for a pattern 1 trinomial. We're still doing the same exact thing. We're finding the factors of 8 that sum to 6. So that's what's really nice, is that pattern 2 trinomials are so similar to pattern 1 trinomials. Okay, so we go through the step 3 process. We get the same exact numbers, 2 and 4, multiply to give us 8, and sum to give us 6. Those are the key numbers. In step 4, we now plug the discovered values into our new parentheses setup, the x minus x minus. There it is again, x minus x minus. Now we plug the 2 and the 4 into that, and we get our final factored form, x minus 2 times x minus 4, telling us that this quantity right here, x minus 2 times the quantity x minus 4, is equivalent to our original problem, x squared minus 6x plus 8. So that's how you do a pattern 2 trinomial, and the very subtle ways in which it's different from a pattern 1 trinomial. So I hope that helps you see how to factor both those patterns. It's really important to memorize the patterns and to memorize the parentheses that go with the patterns, okay? That all kind of goes together. So what I'll do next is put up some problems so you can practice pattern 1 and pattern 2 quadratic trinomial factoring. And good luck with that, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where we'll learn how to do pattern 3 and pattern 4 quadratic trinomials.